Hi, my name is David Al-Khazraji from the Social Foundry, and today we're going to discuss how to create a web service in under 5 minutes. So this is the SOAPbox user interface, and we will create a SOAP, a REST XML and REST JSON web service by authoring simple SQL statements. And so the first step in this process is to create an access key. An access key is simply an API key that external users can use to invoke your web service, and this is how you control security to those services. So I'll call this one outside vendor, perhaps, and we'll set the encryption to no, and we'll give this key a value. So, and then we have our API key. The second step is to actually set up your database connections. So I'll go ahead and create a Microsoft SQL Server database connection. We also support Oracle and MySQL MariaDB as well. So my connection name, I'll call this Northwind 3 perhaps. Put in your username and password for my database. I'll have to get the host name, paste it here, and the database name. The record threshold is to make sure that your web service doesn't exceed a number of records selected. In case someone writes some bad SQL, it doesn't cause performance issues for the other people trying to use those services. So that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and commit the record. So now I have a database connection called Northwind 3. Now the next step is to go ahead and actually create the web service. So in this case, my use case is I want to go ahead and expose a customer list and maybe some customer IDs as a web service. So I'm going to call this customer listing. Okay. And then I'll write my SQL. So in this case, the web service is going to return two sets of data, a company name and a customer ID. And I'm going to actually map it to a particular database connection, and then that's it. So once I hit the insert button, that is an actual web service waiting to be used. It's available SOAP, REST, and REST XML, REST JSON, of course. So then the next step in this process is to add a key. And so what we do is we have to add an access key to determine which API keys can access the service and which ones cannot. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and add the outside vendor key that we had set up in the previous step. And that's about it. So now this web service is not only created, it is now accessible by this key. So inside the application, there's easy ways to test to make sure that your SQL syntax is good, to make sure that the data returned is good as well. Every web service that we have here essentially can be tested from within the application. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and do a SOAP test. That looks good. And then I'll probably do a REST XML test. So as you can see, it runs through and calls the XML, and you can see the company name and the customer ID returned with the row elements. So those can be consumed as a web service. And as a final test, you can do REST JSON, which also returns the JSON data back for those systems that consume JSON information. So there you have it. We have REST XML SOAP web service created in under 5 minutes. I think the time was about 4 minutes total. And if you have any questions, please visit our website at www.thesocialfoundry.com.